What are the poll questions we have today, Seton O'Connor?
Well, we might as well jump into what is probably the most fun story. Do you believe Caleb Williams asked for equity in the team that drafts him? Yes or no?
Okay. This surfaced in July, and Mike Florio had some things, had a couple of sources who talked about Caleb Williams' representatives were telling agents, whoever drafts him, that he wants equity in a team. And now Aaron Rodgers, according to Florio's post on Pro Football Talk, also asked the Jets. Now, it's a non-starter. You can't get equity in a team because if that's the case, I can pay you $1 million to be my quarterback, and I'll give you a piece of the team. So now all of a sudden I've circumvented the salary cap. So I don't even know how it got this far. Now, could Caleb Williams, with his personality, ask for something like this? Maybe. I don't know him, haven't had him on, but his agent should know. I can make one phone call, a text to a source right now and say, can a player, you can ask for it, but you're not going to get it. So why would you, if it's true, even ask the question? Because now it paints him in a different light. And now these message boards with some of the teams, Bears, that fan base, after they lost to Notre Dame, this is, it feels like there's a sabotage going on right now. There's some saboteurs out there because if you ask for, how do you let this become public? But the story doesn't go away. It was in July. Florio even says, look, it's a non-starter. You can't do this. But there were sources saying that his representatives were asking for this or inquiring about this. Yes, Seton.
It's the unfair part about it for Caleb Williams is that when you hear it, you're like, well, I could see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that much of a stretch, which is very unfair. But you're kind of like, yeah, I could see where maybe he would ask for that.
Don't you think, though, that it feels like maybe somebody doesn't like him? Maybe another agent said something. I don't know. It feels like there's something going on here, but I don't think it's not possible to ask for a portion of the team. That's the collective bargaining. I mean, that's just common sense. You can ask for it, but you can't get it. Because, therefore, I don't have to pay you $50 million a year. Let's say the Chiefs did that. Let's say Patrick Mahomes said, hey, I want a piece. Okay, you know what? I'm going to pay you $1 million, and then the rest is just your piece of the team. Right? So now I just saved $49 million. I can go out, I can keep Tyreek Hill. It's silly. But it's out there, and it continues to stay out there. Yeah, Paul.
Dan, if you go back to July, this story really never broke. Florio's not saying I'm hearing or this is a rumor. He said, per multiple sources, reps for USC quarterback Caleb Williams have been making it known to prospective agents that Williams wants partial ownership. So some type of rep, not the agent for Caleb Williams, because he can't have an agent yet completely. And
he can have an agent.
Yeah. And then he said about Aaron Rodgers. This story, I noticed it kind of bubbling up Monday morning on all these like Facebook team message boards and kind of half-assed NFL reporting sites that took Florio's story from July and repurposed it right after Caleb Williams lost. There's another story a couple weeks ago that was getting the same treatment that Caleb Williams reportedly said, I'll only play for 5 teams. I went and dug, and there's no origination for the story. It's just circling. It's just spinning. But all these different fan bases, Bears fan bases, Patriots fan bases, are seeing this story with no really corroboration and just lighting up Caleb Williams. Who does this guy think he is?
Yeah, until they draft him, and then they'll be like, hey, Caleb, come on in, save our franchise here. But it feels like there's something else at play here. I've been around for 40 years, and it just feels like there's something like almost internet sabotage here with Caleb Williams. And coming off the loss against Notre Dame, that there's this vitriol there, and I'm going, man, I don't know if he started it. It never should have gotten to this point. You can inquire. I mean, I guess I could have asked for a piece of ESPN when I was there and had a better chance of getting a piece of ESPN than these guys do a piece of a franchise there.
But if you had been straight out of Headline Sports and been like, yeah, I'll go to Bristol, but first I want equity.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
or there's only 5 networks that I would work for.
Maybe not.
Florio clarified this, though, didn't he? And he's going to join us a little bit later on. Yes.
It's probably just as good a lesson as, like, the internet is going after him, but it's more like the algorithm of the internet that's attacking him rather than like actual reporters.
Okay. Yeah, Paul.
But then this story goes from that to, if you look on Twitter, there's reputable websites retweeting Florio's original story now. It's like it's stoked up again, and it's getting to mainstream media. And it's what's going to happen to Caleb Williams. It's going to become a fact to a lot of people that he asked for partial ownership of whatever team drafts him without any proof of that.
Because most of you who are listening or watching or both probably don't take the time to really, go deep on something. You'll hear something. Somebody will say, I'm hearing, or, hey, just rumors out there. Well, once you start it, now it becomes fact. That's just the way it works in our business or with our listeners or with our viewers, where you just hear, hey, I'm hearing. Well, that doesn't mean anything. It's when you say, I've got sources on this, that's when it's real. But, hey, whispers, rumor, innuendo, speculation, those aren't reports. But when they get into print and you see them, then all of a sudden it becomes fact. Yes, Eden.
I don't believe this story at all. That he asked for equity in a team.
Do you think he said I'd only go to 5 teams?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's not that crazy to me. But to be a college player and being like, well, whatever team I want a piece of is insanity.
Yes.
Absolute insanity.
But wouldn't somebody say right away, if you have one of your representatives or your agent, and they're going to go, hey, you know what? He wants to get a piece of the Chicago Bears. That's when somebody should say, no, don't say that. You don't want that out there. It is not possible.
Yeah, maybe they did in some way. Like, well, what about equity? And they're like, no. Okay. And moved on. And then that's what gets leaked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if he's gone to the top 5 picks and been like, I need 5% ownership.
Yeah.
Or I'm not coming here.
But doesn't it feel like there's some sabotage going on here? After the loss to Notre Dame, his fingernails painted. I don't know.
Do you think it's more likely that he's being sabotaged or one of his representatives asked a stupid question?
Well, hey, look, I ask stupid questions for a living.
What are you being sabotaged for in July before, you know what I mean? Like the timing of the saboteurism doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, but it's happening right now.
But only because the internet is a weird place. Like these bots dug up an old story and are recirculating it. I mean, that's what the internet is now.
Yeah. Yeah, Marv.
If you're Caleb Williams, do you hold a press conference and say, no, I did not say any of this. This is ridiculous.
I did not ask for equity of that team.
Just to get it out there.
Well, I don't know if he speaks with the media each week. I don't know if USC makes him available. Lincoln Riley's available each week. But I don't know. After the game, their next game, is people going to ask him about it? I'm going to assume. If you're Caleb Williams, I think you want to get that story out there that, look, we all know that you can't ask for equity in a team. And I would never do that. And I want to be, whoever drafts me, I want to go there. Like, he can change his mind about that, but let's get some goodwill going here. You just got embarrassed. You lost the Heisman, and now people think you're, this pretentious, what? And that, hey, I want a piece of the team. Hey, I only want to go to these teams here, these cities. Okay. Yeah, Marv.
Even after their next game, the post game, I would start the press conference. No, this wasn't me. Because an unchecked lie becomes the truth. If I don't nip this in the bud, people are going to say, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So you really did want equity in the Bears or the Panthers or whoever.
And as good as the Bears are, do you really want equity in the Bears? I mean, come on. I'm joking. Of course, you'd take a piece of any team there.
You got to get ownership back from the Packers.
From Aaron Rodgers.
Packers have been saying that for years.
Yeah. I mean, that's where, somebody should say Rodgers owns, the Bears too. He got a piece of the Bears.
LOL.
How's he allowed to have that?
Sad but true.